Hey guys, welcome to another vlog on my writing process. This will be number 8, I believe. The last video I talked about doing your third read through, your third revision, and doing little things, that go along with that, like fixing any minor errors, checking for spelling, and fixing anything that you have changed in your second draft. Just making sure that the flow stays there. Today I'm going to be talking about editing in terms of having somebody else do it, because it's always good to have somebody else read your work, have another set of eyes on it. That way somebody else can see things that you don't, because after a while of seeing the same words and the same sentences all the time, you can lose sight of where you're trying to go and what you are. Oh, jeez. Morning playtime. I was starting to say that you can sometimes lose sight of where you're trying to end up with in your writing, in your story. Having somebody else read through your story, they can detect things that you missed. I think I mentioned this before, and it's just good to have somebody else read it, and I'll get into more of the detail in today's vlog. So let's get started. You chasing your brother? He's right over there. Go get him. Okay, well, hopefully their playing won't distract me too much. So by this point in your process, you should have your draft read through and revised 3 times, and it should be comfortable enough with it to give it to somebody else. Now, the first part about having somebody else read it and edit it is that you have to have an open mind to their suggestions. You know, it's sometimes hard, especially on the first project, to give your project to someone else for critiquing. Now, hopefully it's somebody that you trust or that you know, or that you can at least get a good vibe on what they're all about. A lot of professional editors out there, they'll have maybe like their own personal bios or even a portfolio of things that they've done in the past. And I've even seen some have I guess testimonials from clients who have given them praise for the great jobs that they've done. This is the case for most professional editors. For me, what I did on my first 2 projects, and I'll explain why in a second, what I did was use 2 of my friends who, one is my good friend's wife, and another is a guy that I went to college with. Both of them hold English degrees. So I didn't go the professional editing route because it can get pretty pricey. You just have to know where to look, and if you can sometimes catch a deal, they'll give, the professional editors will sometimes give discounts, holiday weekends, or just special events like that. But I used 2 of my friends, and the reason I chose to do that was, one, because I didn't have the money to do the professional editing route. One quote that I saw was like, I think $400, $450 for a substantive edit. Now, the editor would take a long time, being a few weeks, and go through and really delve into the story and really dissect it. And it wouldn't just be a quick read through and just catching little errors. So that the money would be worth it, but I just didn't have it at the time. Another reason why I do that is because I know the people I'm working with, and as a first-time author, my first couple of projects, I wanted to not have to worry about the editing side of it too much, because I wanted to focus the learning aspect of it, I guess, on picking up how it all works, how the system works within the self-publishing industry. So I wanted to devote time to that and to writing, rather than having to figure out who I'm going to have edit, decide if they're good for me, develop a relationship with them, and take time to do that. So I'll probably do that route on my 3rd book, which I'm working on now, but we'll see what time brings. So, of course, like many things of what I've covered so far, it's all your preference. If you would like to go the professional editing route, or if you'd like to work with somebody, maybe a friend or a colleague that is familiar with this stuff and is aware of how the editing side of literature works, that's completely up to you. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I stressed that it's very important to have somebody else read your manuscript. Again, that's just because they can catch things that you didn't. You get a fresh set of eyes to read your story, and it really helps just in the overall process of things. And if you do decide to use people that you at least semi-consistently come in contact with, like I said, friends or colleagues, especially if they don't have an English degree, or if they're not in the world of literature very often, if they're not working within it, it's a good idea to have a couple of different people read through your manuscript, not just one person. Like I said, the point of this is to have another set of eyes on your story, and if you can have more, that'll help you even more down the road. So again, the whole point of this is to just ship your manuscript off to somebody else to have them read it and edit it, giving your eyes and your mind a break from your manuscript and seeing the same stuff over and over again. And like I said in the last video, you can use this time now that you're done with a few read-throughs of your manuscript. Use this time for some house cleaning on your laptop or your actual desktop, your workspace, whatever it is. But also, you should still be writing. I mentioned it before, it's good to keep writing even though you're not working on your current project at the time. Something that you could do, a lot of writers, especially indie writers, they do this. You can partake in NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month. It's held in November, and what it is basically is you set a certain goal in terms of word count, what you want to reach by the end of the month. You try to write every day, and you produce a story, a manuscript, throughout that month. And then by the end, you see where you are, and then you can go from there. And if you want to turn it into an actual project that you'll publish, or if you're just using it as practice, either way, you know, that's your choice at the end. But the idea is that you're writing in your off time. If you can write every day, whether it's in your current project or not, that's good, because it keeps your skills and your knowledge and your writing mojo, it keeps it flowing as best as you can make it flow. So in terms of what you can do when you ship off your manuscript to an editor, you can do something like NaNoWriMo if it's in November. You can actually take part in it, or you can kind of challenge yourself if it's not in November to kind of do something like NaNoWriMo, but do it on a smaller scale. There are tons of websites out there that have different writing prompts, and you can, I mean, some you can even subscribe to, although where they will send you, like via email or through social media, they'll send you like Wednesday writing prompt, and then it'll just be a sentence or two, and then ... at the end, and you have to go from there and take it from there. You can do something like that. You can try to, you know, lay out something for yourself that you'd like to write about, whether it's in journal form or just kind of jotting down some thoughts, or again, you can even write smaller, you know, short stories or something like that. Anything that you can do to keep writing is great. For me, what I do between you know, writing my manuscript and having it edited and then getting it back, during that time, what I do is work on my short stories. I'll maybe plan for some of my other projects. I'll just do a little bit of planning here and there. I mentioned before that I do the skeleton outline of my larger books. I do that maybe a few months before I start writing. I try to get that nailed down. So depending on the timing of when I ship a manuscript off to edit, I might work on that. But I'm always trying to do something, and I feel like it's really helped me to stay busy, but to also keep my craft honed. So that's basically my little spiel about having somebody else edit your work and what you should do during that time. In the next video, I'll talk about what you will do when you get your revisions back from your editor. So that's it for the main part of today's vlog, but to finish out, I'd like to talk about a book that I've read. I'm trying to think of when I read that. It was in college, so it was probably maybe 6 years ago. It's a book called 6 Armies in Normandy, and I'll put a picture up at the video toward the end, but here's an idea of how thick it is and the size of it. It's a book by Keegan, and he's a renowned historian and author, especially in World War II. The book was really well written, and it just gives some good accounts of the 6 different participating armies that were in the Battle of Normandy in 1944. So if you're into World War II and you are interested on the topic, I suggest check it out. I'll include a link in the description. And he has a lot of other good books out, so I'm sure you can, you could Google them and you can check them out. So that's it for today, everyone. So thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber yet, please hit that subscribe button. Also, if you haven't yet subscribed to my blog, which comes out every Monday, I encourage you to do that. I include details and information about the projects I'm working on, the events I'm going to, things I'm involved with. And my mailing list, I send out a newsletter about every 2 weeks on average. You can subscribe to that as well. All the links are in the description. The newsletter is just a more involved look into my writing life than what you see in the blog. It's a little bit more detailed and has a little bit more of an inside scoop, so to speak. So give those both a look and see what you think, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Thanks.